Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is completely unedited, completely unscripted. Not that I script any of my videos, but yeah. I just kind of wanted to have an open, honest discussion with you about mental health. My mental health, just mental health. I think it's so important to be so open about it, and there is still a sense of stigma about it, and you know, I think that's never going to change, but we can try, right? People are definitely more open to it now, which is good. But yeah, so I don't know, just recently I've been struggling a lot more with my mental health. I suffer from depression and anxiety. I also have ME, but that's kind of more of an invisible illness, not a mental health issue. But that definitely does play a part in how it affects my depression and how it affects my anxiety. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I have depression. For some people, there is not necessarily a trigger. For me, there was. There's a whole host of reasons as to why. I was bullied at school, I had issues at home. I don't want to go into that too much because that's still really quite painful, and I don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about the problems I had at home, but I had problems at home, not with my mum, with my dad. Maybe I'll go into that one day, but right now that is still so painful, and I'm just not ready to deal with that. So yeah, there's a whole lot of reasons, and the way it first came about was it first started when I was like 12, 13-ish, I suppose. That's kind of when the symptoms first started, but there'd been a lot of build up as well, because aside from the issues that I was having, I lost a great amount of relatives in a short period of time. So from about 2008 to 2011, no, 2006 to 2011, I easily lost about half of my family, so that was pretty intense. It just seemed like it was never going to end. And then, you know, family get ill and everything just affects you, and I feel like the reason why I suffer with it now is because I'm the kind of person who keeps everything in. So a bit of dry skin, it's really annoying. I keep everything inside, and I just let it build up and up and up and up and up, and then it gets to the point where I just like break, and that is what happened. The straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was when my nana's sister passed away in October 2011. She was definitely not the closest relative that I lost in that time period, but I suppose I hadn't really dealt with everyone else, and there was a lot of other things going on. I'd just done my GCSEs. I nearly lost my nana the year before, and I'm so close to her. I'm such a nana's girl. And yeah, there was so much going on, and when she passed away, it was a half-term holiday, and I'd just done my first half-term of sixth form, and oh no, she passed away the weekend before. So she passed away on the Sunday. I still had a week left, because the Monday when I went in, my business teacher made me a cup of tea, which was really lovely, and he really didn't have to do that, and it was just nice that, you know, he was appreciative. Well, not appreciative, he was, you know, there for me, I suppose, and it's just the little things really, and it was, yeah. But then in the half term, I guess that was, I don't know, I was really struggling with the work. It was a lot harder than GCSEs, and I was just really struggling, and I realise now that it was all part of the depression, but yeah, nothing was staying in my head. I couldn't remember anything, and it was the Tuesday of the half term, so really early in, And we were driving home from somewhere, and I just burst into tears. Like, I was like, it's only Tuesday and I don't want to go back to school. I can't do it. And I was like proper full on sobbing, like, ugh, like Kim Kardashian crying. I had the ugly face, had the awful noises, you know, I was sobbing. And this went on for a good 3 or 4 hours at least, possibly more. I can't really remember, to be honest. And it was just, I couldn't do it. So I had a meeting on the Monday at school, and I just explained the situation, and they were like, okay, we are here to support you. Obviously we don't want you to leave, but you know, we understand. And I said, I want to sort of take a year out and then I'll be back next year. So that was the plan. So obviously I went to the doctors in the half term as well, and it was confirmed that it was depression. I didn't really know what it was. Like, well, obviously I knew what depression was, but it had never been something that I'd considered that I had. It was never something that I thought, oh yeah, this is what I might have. It just never occurred to me. I just thought, I don't really know what I thought, to be honest. I just thought, I'm just struggling. It didn't really occur to me at all. So yeah, I went to the doctors, and it was, I was also signed off of work so that I could get financial help. No, not so I could get financial help. I was signed off work for 6 months, so my mum could get help, I think. Do you know what? It was so long ago. It was like 6 years ago now. I really can't remember, but I was signed off work for 6 months. Because that's honestly how long I thought it would be. I thought, in 6 months, I'll be feeling a lot better. I'll be back to my old self. I'll be able to get a job. I'll be able to go back to sixth form next September. And because I wanted to go to university, that was what I was striving for, and that is really what I wanted to do. And it still is to a point. It's just, I'm gonna have to do it a different way now, I suppose. But yeah, so I went to so that doctor's appointment, okay, and then I realised that I should probably get some help, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted medication or therapy or both. I knew I had to have both at some point. I knew straight away that I was going to need both to improve, and I needed medication in my mind to just sort of stabilise me so that I could deal with therapy. Because the thing is, when I had that breakdown in the half term, I just felt so low, and I couldn't manage anything. Like, I didn't get out of bed the rest of the week. I just slept so much. So anyway, moving on from that, it's now August 2013, and I'm still at my old surgery. So I did just have to turn it off to take my mug downstairs, but anyway, so yeah, it's now August 2013, and for the last 2 years nearly, because this was October 2011 when it all started, I hadn't had any therapy and I hadn't had any medication. And I was just sinking and sinking and sinking. And the reason that my GP, I don't really know what my GP was doing. She was saying, oh, when I was first diagnosed, I was 16, and she goes, oh, I can't prescribe you medication until you're 18. So I was like, okay. I turned 18, and she was like, oh, you've got to be 20. So I was like, hang on, this is ridiculous. And I went around every single GP in the surgery asking for some medication and for therapy, and they just would not sign me up for anything. So I changed doctors in August 2013, and I had a doctor's appointment with my new doctor within 20 minutes. signed up for therapy and on medication, and the relief I felt, because it felt like someone was finally listening to me and finally acknowledging that I did have a problem and I did need help. And it was just so, it just felt nice to be listened to for the first time. It felt like my illness was validated in a way that, you know, someone genuinely believes me, someone acknowledges that, you know, I'm ill and I need some help. And yeah. So anyway, that's kind of my story. I'm on medication, I've had therapy, I'm getting there. I'm definitely improving and I'm getting there, but at the same time I still have a long way to go, because I've not necessarily been my true self for so long, at least 10 years now, which is insane. That's like almost half my life, because I'm 22, so it's nearly half my life, which is insane. So I'm definitely getting there. I definitely have, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago I would have said I had, you know, 7 bad days, you know, maybe 1 good day a month if I was lucky. Now I'd say it's sort of half and half, which is still not great, but when you think, you know, 1 good day a month and now it's like half the month I'm feeling okay. Things just happen, you know. It's not going to be perfect, it's still an ongoing battle, and I'll get there. It's going to take time, but it'll be fine. But anyway, just recently, because obviously with my chronic fatigue syndrome, this is going a little bit off topic, you have to be so careful about sort of how active you are and what you do and things, and it really restricts it, because the way that I describe having ME, and this is not from me, this is something I've seen online, is imagine running a marathon with the flu. Like, you'd just be so achy and you'd feel so ill. That is how I feel every single day, and it's so draining and so exhausting, and it's just mad. And something else I also read, and I don't know how true this is because I've never had this condition, but apparently it's people with ME or chronic fatigue syndrome, it's the same thing, just 2 different names, feels like an AIDS patient does 3 months before they die, but all the time. So if that is the case, that is insane, and wow. But yeah, so have to be really careful what you do. So it's difficult for me to do things, because I don't know, for some people, you know, you can just like go to a concert or whatever, but for me, if I'm going to a concert, I know that it's going to take up a lot of energy, so I will literally have to rest for a week or 2 before and rest for 2 or 3 weeks afterwards. So, you know, one concert takes out, you know, one night of concert actually takes up 5 weeks of my life, which is insane, really. But the ME specialist that I saw said, you know, still do these things. You know, you can't stop your life completely, you know, do these things. Just be aware that, you know, you are going to have to rest up before and after. So I've kind of always been aware, you know, sort of what to look for and stuff. But anyway, so I went out. Lost my train of thought. So I went out a couple of weeks ago, and I think there's a few reasons as to why I'm feeling so low. One, it was a lot of standing and a lot of walking, which is intense. And obviously that caused me a lot of pain, because if I stand for too long or I walk for too long, I get insane pains up my legs and in my back. And so I had that. And also I think because I had such a good time, I was on such a high, like I was genuinely so happy, I genuinely enjoyed myself. And you kind of crash from that afterwards. So I think I've just been feeling really low. I've barely got out of bed. I'm sleeping a lot during the day, not sleeping at night. And then last week everything changed. Everything was put into perspective for me, and I am really struggling to cope with this. Okay, so basically last Tuesday, it was the 19th of September, a body was found in my local park. Now, bearing in mind I live in a small village, like, these things do not happen. I've lived in this village for 20 years. This does not happen. This has not happened. So we were thinking, has someone killed someone? And obviously, as there always is with stories like this, there was a lot of rumours, there was a lot of speculation and things like that. Anyway, it was discovered that this person had hung themselves because they were depressed, and just wow. Anyway, I found out who this person was on Friday, and I know them. They were in the same year of school as my sister. In fact, they even lived next door to me for a couple of years, and I knew this person, which makes it even weirder or even more surreal, because, you know, it's so insane that something like this happened in your village as well, but to think that I can picture where this person was and what they look like, it was insane. And it's just really kind of shook me up. Because you know, for someone to feel that low and feel like they have no one to go to or nowhere to turn, that is just insane. And, you know, that is just mad. And, you know, I just, I just really sympathise for him and his family. You know, it's just, and it really puts it into perspective, because a couple of weeks ago I just felt so unbelievably low that I was, you know, if someone had pushed me over that line, I you know, I was really, you know, I was on the edge. I was feeling really low. I was feeling really, it's not something that I've ever thought about or anything that I want to think about, obviously, but it definitely puts it into perspective. You know, this is what this illness can do. This illness can kill people. And yet there are people that still don't believe it exists when it's killing people. You know, people don't kill themselves because they're happy, do they? Oh, I'm so happy, I want to kill myself. No, that is not what happens. And I don't know, it just frustrates me that people are like, oh, you just need to be happy. If it was that easy, I would do it. Like, do I look like I want to feel like this all the time? No, I don't. Of course I don't. You know, it's hard. It's really hard. And I just think people need to be a lot more careful of what they say to people. And I just think, you know, if you think that someone needs help, just tell them you're there for them. That's all it takes. And this video is a lot longer than I expected it to be, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I'm getting emotional. So I'm going to leave it there. But yeah, just be kind. Be kind.